Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for War 2 of the season. This time we're going up against SAS with the likes of Work in Progress, Janik, and Dreamin'. For Loki, we did decide that we were not going to push this war. That was the stated, purpose. However, going up against those three, going up against SAS, I wanted to bring my best. So I boosted, I went big, and I think a lot of my BG mates did too. Let's go ahead and jump into this. We have 8 fights, including 2 mini bosses. I'm very, very pumped up to do this. If you've been enjoying the content, make sure to hit subscribe, maybe even notifications. I'd appreciate it if you like it and maybe even make a comment. Let me know what you think and how it's going. All right, let's get into this. You can see my team here was Archangel, Human Torch, and Apocalypse. They had me taking this initial fight with Apocalypse. The planning was excellent in this war. DeLeon and Lizer are doing a phenomenal job. This was really cool, right? Last war, I was able to bring in Cable, which started off Apocalypse charged up. But coming in here, because Domino is a mutant, I'm able to get my Apocalypse already up to 3, which is just a huge benefit. Now, I knew I was probably only going to be taking 1 fight with this Apocalypse, so I am not worried at all about the crit failures, that sort of thing. Also, Apocalypse health pool is so large. I'm not going to sweat this at all. So I'm just going to kind of do my Domino thing. I'm even going to just parry her. I'm not going to be doing the side steps or step backs. I'm just going to parry her, make sure they land. As you see, we're starting with the 3 genetic code because she is a mutant. So we landed both of the debuffs from the SP1, bait this SP2, and then really this is it. I'm not even going to do backdraft intercept. I'm not going to make this fancy at all. The stun is landing, so I'm able to refresh the debuffs, land that little bleed. Remember, when you fight Domino, the thing you want to be very concerned or cautious of or aware of is when she goes lucky. That's going to give her the chance to evade. So shorten up your combos. Do the 3 lights there. And then if you stun her when she's lucky, she's going to shrug that kind of early. And then if you're unlucky, like you see with the red passive there, do not try to bait specials. Just don't do it. It's not going to work. And then we got her finished off. This SP2 will probably finish her off, if not get her really close to it. Yeah, so I think I went ahead and decided to bait the SP2. Yeah, she threw it real nice. And we're done, which means now the fun begins. Now we can do what Apocalypse does in making Archangel a Horseman, and it's time to just trounce this war map. Let's have some fun with this. So you're going to see him go in here and make Archangel a Horseman, which is amazing. My last war video was the first time I've ever been able to intentionally make Archangel a Horseman. My buddy Strands did have his Apocalypse all charged up for a fight last season. And last season I was able to bring in White Magneto for the bonuses and also the pre-fights, which was awesome. It made Archangel even better. Having him as a Horseman is just outrageously insane. As you can see, I was boosted real nice. I knew I had a lot of fights coming up, so I just used the war boosts. And then I used this nice little, I have a lot of them. Now that we can buy them almost whenever we want, it's comforting so you feel comfortable. And I thought, just in case there's some sort of bizarro mistake in this fight, I'd like to have that little extra health, save myself some potions, because I knew I'd be taking so many fights. You can see how well the Horseman ability is working there by how quickly I am able to land bleeds, and how quickly those bleeds are turning into neurotoxins. The plus ability accuracy, it is noticeable. It was noticeable bringing in White Magneto, and it is noticeable from White Magneto to Horseman Archangel, and that fight is over. I mean, just absolutely over. I was debating whether to do the kind of the fancy SP1 evade or diving back in and then out and then in, and I don't think I got a chance to do it. Now we're moving on to the Encroaching stun, and I want to make something very clear. This is completely my fault. I believed they assigned me this fight with Human Torch without the pre-fight. I thought that was really weird because I have Horseman Archangel who can actually just turn off the node of Encroaching stun. But I was like, I'm not going to question it. The planning is so amazing. I do think it was unusual. Maybe they just wanted to test something, see something, because we were not pushing. So if you were to take this fight, it's doable. And watch how this works out. You can see I'm just landing my heavies. I want to get my temperature up, right? And then I'm just being kind of mindful of the Encroaching stun timer. You can see it in the upper left there. I'm really happy because we've got our Nova Flame going. So now we're in a good position. I'm just going to throw my SP1 here and time with Encroaching stun. I mean, this is really going beautifully. At this point, I'm very, very, very relaxed. In fact, probably too much, as you're about to see. Her power gain does kind of get going quite a bit. The longer this fight takes, I think, the more likely you are to make a mistake. Right about here, I was thinking, I'm just going to go in and I'll go ahead and punish this and throw my SP2. But for some reason, I backed out thinking I would be able to throw my special. I could swear that I did. The game obviously disagrees, and you know who wins that battle? The game. Even though I had the indestructible boost, she, pretty much used all of those by doing a nice little combo into me. Throws her SP3, game over. That's totally my fault. I should have just continued on, thrown the SP2 when I had the chance. I used the indestructible boost in case I sent her to the SP3. Just my fault, right? Also, and I want to make this clear, I went back and read the assignments. I was assigned Archangel for this fight. I just completely misread it. Fortunately, Delion and Liza were like, don't sweat it. We're not pushing, no big deal. In fact, it was kind of, at least this was me, like it was cool to see how Torch could handle this fight. And I thought that's what they had wanted. I thought they wanted to see, can Torch do this fight? How can I handle this fight with Torch without using the pre-fight in case we needed to do that in a war we were pushing on? It is what it is, slides right off my back. So now moving on to this fight, Rise to Power. I took this fight last war against Domino. I found that I actually thought it was easier being able to make him a Horseman. I think helps out a lot because you don't need to deal with the powerful from afar. I was a little concerned about this fight just in case Spam did evade at some point. But you see, we're going to get the Neuros on so quickly. Now it's done. I mean, this fight is really pretty much over. I'd really have to mess this up. I'm not even going to try to full evade the SP1, just evading the first part of it. This is Horseman Archangel against Spam. Spam does not have a big life pool. I understand why he was placed there, but Horseman Archangel is just going to absolutely melt that. Now, here's comes the fight that I was saving the Flame on ability for. This Aspect Evolution, Kinetic Transference, Mangog. To me, this is a tough fight. I did go ahead and use Indestructible because I wanted to take this seriously. In fact, at this point, we were actually hanging in pretty well with SAS, despite, not, quote unquote, not pushing. We were playing very well and we were keeping it close. And so I wanted to do my part in playing well and keeping it close. And so I knew this fight was pretty much going to be a race. This was going to be a race with this Aspect of Evolution and the Kinetic Transference because, and I did watch some of other people's videos on this fight. And it seems like countering his heavies is a good thing, but the way to bait his heavies is to take some blocked hits, which works out well for Human Torch, right? Because it's helping him build up what he needs to build up against the Mystic. The problem is kinetic transference, and that Mangog's power can really get going. And then keep in mind, you don't want to do the 5-hit combos because that's going to have him build, I believe it's called his Rage, which when he gets to 10, then he's going to go, I believe, unblockable and unstoppable, requiring you to throw a special and hit him with that special. So there was a lot to kind of keep in mind here. I am curious how Magic could do in a fight like this, but you can't bring four champions, obviously. So I went ahead and used Indestructible. I wanted to treat this as much like an extremely important war as possible. And like I said, I really wanted to beat Work and Dreamin' and J-Nick here. So coming in here, gonna do the heavies, right? Get that started. Things are feeling pretty good. I want to bait his SP1s because they are evadable. The SP2 I know can be, I just can't do it, right? His SP1 takes up a lot of ground, so I'm not getting worried at this point. But I am aware of where we are on the map, so I'm going to hit his block. Continuing to try to bait this SP1. And I'm not helped out by the fact that there's no dual target for him, neither in the game or in Joanna. So now we have him unblockable, unstoppable. I've got to land a special to get rid of that. That went off quite nicely. There's that SP2. That was actually very comforting. Again, you can't really practice this fight. It's not possible to practice it because there's no dual target. There's less hits in that SP2 than I thought there were. Remember, this is kinetic transference. So when we went to block it, I really thought we might shoot him quite a bit farther, and that did not happen. So that was comforting. And at this point, I'm aware this fight is definitely over because I have the Indestructible Torch, that sort of thing. So if you have the Indestructible Torch, definitely can do this. And if you have a strategy for fighting Mangog, let me know. Like I said, I watched quite a few videos on it. There does seem to be a bit of a unsure on how to fight him, especially in a fight like that where you don't want to be taking hits into the block. Now moving on to Fury. Took Fury on that node in the last war, went incredibly well. Kinetic Transference, his Feat of Indestructible. The only thing with this Feat of Indestructible is it's really just going to buy him 5 seconds when I get to my SP2. I'm using Archangel, and I like having Kinetic Transference against Fury, right? Because it's helping push him to the SP1. There is how you intercept his heavy. It's just one little dash back, and then you interrupt that little hitch. There it is right there. One dash back, charge your heavy, get him, he's down. And then because, you know, a lot of folks are like, oh, Archangel just parry heavy over and over. And that is a great way to play him, right? With the increased chance on the bleed and things like that. Don't get me wrong. But when you can do the backdraft intercept, and it works very well with him, right? If you've seen my war videos, especially from last season, you saw how often we would use that, particularly against Weapon X. There's how to interrupt the heavy when he is unstoppable, right? And I purposely put him to the SP3. If I did not have the Indestructible boost, I would have baited that SP2. But again, this is kind of like learning from previous mistakes. And that's one reason why, even though we're not pushing, I'm taking these wars very seriously, is in the Sorcerer fight. If I had really thought about it, I should have just utilized my Indestructible boost to my advantage, not been worried about pushing her to the SP3, exactly how I was there. There was no reason to try to bait that SP2 and somehow make a mistake and get myself back into the corner. Just push into his SP3, the fight will be over. Now, right about a few minutes before this fight, now I was scheduled to take this fight, but a few minutes before it, I get a DM from Liza, and she's like, hey, you know what? We're really in this war. I think maybe you should go ahead and take this fight. Boosted. She had seen my Fury fight. She's like, I don't think you're going to trigger Rage. And if you do, it's going to be very rare, but it doesn't look like you should. Go ahead and take it with your boost still on. Remember, they were the 6-hour boosts. My plan was to go ahead and play her as stun immune as much as possible. But if I do stun her and I'm confident in it, I'm going to go ahead and land my heavy. I don't believe she would evade. And then as I start to get on the Neuros, and then I also remember I have the safety cushion of being a Horseman, and that does bring a lot, right? That allows you to play a little bit more aggressively or have some insurance from a small mistake or two. So I really wasn't worried about this fight. I've taken this fight with Archangel and not even the White Magneto synergy, much less being made a Horseman. So I've done this fight before, soloed it. So I really wasn't too concerned. I'm very, very comfortable fighting Wasp, and it was kind of exciting that the war had gotten close. So if Work or Dreamin or Janik is watching this, I really did want to beat you guys. You know, it is what it is. It's like if we fight SSX, I'm going to want to bring my best for it. So here we go. I felt really good about the timing of that parry and getting on these hits. We've got 2 Neuros up, and with as high a SIG as my Archangel is, I know that the chances of anything ability accuracy-wise happening are extremely low. I had gotten comfortable with the heavy into her SB1. I was 1 backup more than I really needed, but Archangel's wings are so big, he covers so much ground. And you can see this fight is over. We did trigger Rage a few times, but again, the having the neurotoxins up and then having the high sig, that's just decreasing her ability accuracy so much. It's not quite to 100 at 2 neuros, but it's getting up there. And then we decided to go ahead and take this enhanced power gain Sorcerer Sim Sup. I had taken Sorcerer Supreme in the previous war. Now my Indestructible had fallen off because we weren't sure if I was going to be taking this fight or not. I didn't think I needed the Indestructible. I felt very confident that Archangel could get Symbiote Supreme down before Symbiote Supreme would get to an SP3. The SP2 of Symbiote Supreme will be unblockable due to this node. And I got excellent fight advice from Liza saying, if I push him to the SP2, just hold block. This, if you saw my previous war video, you saw that how well that tactic can work out in doing, you know, enticing the AI to not throw a special. They interpret it as not smart or not safe to throw because you are blocking. Sometimes they'll still do it, but it is a nice way to influence the AI. So if I push Symbiote Supreme to his SP2, I'm going to stay blocked and let the Neuros and the Bleeds do their job. Now watch how quickly Archangel handles this fight. He is incredible. Look at this. All right, we've already got 3 bleeds up. I mean, only 1 neuro. That is a lot, but compared to some of the other fights, it's nothing. Now we're at 4. Now we're cooking. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, this guy is melting, as you know. The longer this goes, the worse it's going to get for him. Just kind of moved back on the heavy. I'm getting him into the 2 range. He throws it. Go ahead and just punish with the combo. Archangel wins. I mean, the guy just does. He's amazing on his own. Then you add the white Magneto and what he does as far as heroes and metal champions. And oh my goodness, when you get to make him a horseman, this is incredible. This is insane. I am enjoying this season so much. I'm getting to take a ton of fights and be very helpful. And then, of course, it just is fun to absolutely melt opponents. Unfortunately, we did come up on the short end of this one. I believe the score was 8-5 in defender kills. Full credit to SAS, right? It always feels a little odd when we're like, well, we weren't pushing. No, you know what? We brought the best we intended to bring, and SAS played a great war. They only died 5 times. They deserve to win. They're great at war, and kudos and congratulations to all of my buddies over there. And thank you so much to Lizer and Deleon. And then, of course, I have to mention it. Thanks to DLL, my BG leader from last season, for really helping me stick with Archangel despite a few early deaths in that season, and just really get my confidence going and learn the interactions between the defenders and the nodes and Archangel himself. That it really is a big deal, and there's a lot of players out there like me who, if given a couple opportunities, make sure we're doing our duels and make sure we're trying to get the spacing and we're trying to understand it, but give folks a couple opportunities because they might not get it the first time or even the second, but if you see improvement, they're going to get it, just like me and Fury, and how comfortable and confident I am in taking him now. So thanks to all those awesome BG leaders out there. I know there's so many more than the ones I've mentioned, but those are the ones I had experience with lately. Thank you to you, the viewer, for watching. Let me know what you think, how your war season is going, and if you have an Archangel too. Thanks so much. Take care. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.